In fact, the core reactor in the middle is your crystal, is the secret of life. You were looking for tangibility of crystal. I gave you the crystal in the reactor composition. You're looking for a few watts of energy. I gave you the whole essence of creation. And this was not to insult last week. It was to explain you always look for the meager crumbs, but you're sitting with the biggest cake in the universe in your hand. If you look, the shape of this power unit is very much triangular, a star formation, and is a crystal structure. You looked to find tangibility of the physicality of the crystal. I looked to teach you the next level of increase in power to be able to produce the elusive, what you've been looking for, spaceship program. Let's bring it together. Let's talk in how the humanity in total can change everything which is there. Look what I gave you. This is your power unit. Look what you have. A crystal in the middle. Because the cylinder in the center of your coil is a crystal condition. If you look, your coils are stacked on 3 layers. Remember the teaching of the skin of the man. Remember the teaching we had, somebody showed you last week, that when you put 3 layers together, you achieve hexagonal shape, which is shape of the crystal. So, in fact, you looked into the crystal, but I already gave you the crystal through your cores. Pardon? Can you go down now? Can we see the full? So, what you've been looking for to create that crystal is already in your hand, in your possession. So, what do you have to do? You have a crystal in your hand. You've been looking into elusive matter state. You already had it in your hand in the condition of the core. Now, what do we do? What do we do? You build the coils. You nano-coated them. You put GaNs in them. You fill them with the same material, more or less, as the crystals. What have you missed? Why last week I explained you're all physical and this is becoming frustrating and you saw it as an insult, but it wasn't an insult. It was to wake you up how much we cannot go step by step, spoon feeding. Some of you have to extend the knowledge of a man beyond spoon feeding. In your coils, on the 3 stacking unit, you have already achieved the crystal formation on the top, which is what your wish is. The 3 stacker, 3 layer of the inner, middle, and upper skin, all in a GaNs state, creating a hexagonal shape, the way we've seen on the northern poles of Saturn. The way it was shown last week with the gentleman showing us the plasma creating hexagonal shape. Look at your crystals, still hexagonal shape. So Your crystal, your wish is in your hand. What is the next step? The next step is, what do we do and how and where do we take this knowledge? Where do we go in understanding what is the next step for man? Go back into the teaching. Go back into what you all got involved so heavily with, and then you thought, we made all these coils, we made all these cores, and he moved on to something new. Because the knowledge of man is in chapters, so we covered the chapter by chapter. Now you have your hexagonal coil, you have your hexagonal field energy. What do you have to do? Go back to origin. Your star formation base, place your coil in the center of the base. You receive your beam. If you look at it in a flat condition, what we've done with all the teachings, this is the base of your star formation. And the true plasmatic crystal in the center of it, which is the coil which you built. You have next step. Now you have managed to beam up a homogeneous beam using the interaction and in conjunction with the coils and the cores. Now, what is the next step? You have one step missing. You have one step to develop the condition of monoenergetic molecular laser, not monoenergetic atomic laser. Because where you have coated the ganses on this coil, your plasmatic crystal is for the first time gives the man the opportunity to create a stable, continuous monomolecular plasmatic energy. You have a CO2, you have the copper oxide, you have zinc, and whatever you put on that coil as a gans is fixed, it will not move, and it will give you a steady continuation of the fields with what you need to keep a life field, that the field created is the strength of the amino acid of the physicality of the man. When you create a plasmatic field like this, it means now you have built a shielding that allows human life in space. It allows the development of the next step, that whatever comes up of your reactor, of your star formation, will lead to guarantee of the survival of life in space for a human gravitational magnetic field strength. So that's why you've been brought up through these steps. This is your base. Now, what do we do next? What is the next step? Your base you built has 3 cores of your star formation. You have managed to create a plasmatic crystal which can change according to the environment. If you want to change it, you don't need to change material. Now you have the flexibility of guarantee of life, but you have a 4th reactor on the pyramid of the star formation. If you look at it on a plane, you have a core, somewhere a core there, you have your star formation reactor, and you have the top reactor here. Your star formation sits like this, and your coil, your crystal plasma sits over here. And your fourth core is somewhere here. You need to create a second stacker. This second stacker will sit somewhere here, and if your distance judge correct, this is your free plasma in the center of the second stacker. This is why I asked you and I guided you, but I do not enforce. You made a coil with GANS condition, and then you made a coil with firing condition. With a GANS condition, you brought the elements of the earth. With a firing condition, you brought the purity of the structure of monoelectrical, what you call plasma of the matter. So, in fact, what we've seen with 129 system, you create a homogeneous field which transfer back to itself, and in loading and becoming crystallized in so many ways, you create a field that allows you to create your spaceship. The system, the second point, which is the green point on the screen here, becomes so powerful in receiving energy from its feedback and its own structure that it will create a shielding automatically like this. The depth is where it allows your 3 base reactors to operate, and it concludes and brings inclusively all in position of the reaction to interact to create the immediate lift. You've been looking to create spaceship. Now you have the answer. Any of you who build the star formation, any of you who achieved to create the coils, any of you who achieved to create 2 sets of coils, you should be able to condition your systems to achieve field flight.